Hi, Mrs. Leach. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Hopefully, you can now. So, the title of this presentation is From Paper to Technology: Substitution, Augmentation, Modification, and Redefinition are all the words that are standing in place for the acronym SAMR. What is SAMR model? Is an acronym for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. Popularized by Dr. Rubin, the model supports and enables teachers to design, develop, and infuse digital learning experiences that utilize technology. So it is a persuasion to bring technology into education in such a capacity that it becomes the main source learning tool for students from this day forth, as in, like, since the time that I read it, I guess. Why should I use the model, SAMR model? The articles persuade me to use. Probably should have wrote to use the model. Oh, what's the comma? I'm such a grammar person. I apologize, but I am going to revise this presentation. Articles persuade me to use the model, but I am not sure, and we'll talk about that a little bit towards the end. Here's the quote though. Why should I use the SAMR model, SAMR? To change teacher-created tasks to student-centered tech integrated by Roberts, right? So in other words, to change it from the teachers created the task in the sense that you have assignments that you create in Google Doc, for instance, to having a program such as like Quill that a student can automatically learn their different composition rules and grammar rules through technology integrated learning. How can SAMR be used to engage students? Now, Bloom's what is it called? Taxonomy, okay, has these different levels of creating and evaluating, analyzing, applying, understanding, and I believe this one is reconstructing, I think it's reconstructing. So there, in a sense, with the technology, is showing that you can be hands off, since that is the times that we live in presently. And then you have the choice, and then the enhanced and the tradition. So it's giving you all the different ways, according to the Blooms, that these different technology skills or technology learning plays a role in the Bloom taxonomy. But now, an example of student engagement would be email etiquette. This is also something that is taught in grad school, actually, but we talk about it a little bit differently. Here, it has an original lesson that says review printed copies of email etiquette concepts and guidelines. So they have a substitution as students read an online article discussing email etiquette concepts and guidelines. Then the augmentation is a student read an online article discussing the same article that includes links. So the augmentation is being able to do what's called 2.0. There is something called a 1.0 and a 2.0. And the 1.0, when technology was really hitting the surface, was the ability to see things online. But the 2.0 means that they had the ability to actually do things in the sense of searching, researching across the search engines, and writing commentary on Facebook, for instance, or in Twitter. That would be something considered augmentation. Modification: student watch a video discussing email etiquette concepts and guidelines and reviewing. Then they create a Twitter account and tweet their top 5. Now, this is considered modification, but it's also called Internet 2.0 in the business world. So 2.0 is the fact that you have application of using technology, and then 1.0 is that you recognize it when you see it online. Redefinition: student watch the guidelines videos and access examples violation of email etiquette violations and indicate which guidelines should be applied, correct, or improved, for example. So this is like cross-referencing the do's and the don'ts for email etiquette. So this is one example of teaching email etiquette to students, which would have them engaged more so in a with the respect of a technology class, unless that is you are teaching the email etiquette in another aspect, meaning the minimizing the noise in the email as far as like the typos or the wordiness. Now we're getting into the core of writing and curriculum for English when we talk about email etiquette. So I guess it's the area of email etiquette that you want the student to be engaged in specifically. Why SAMR gives me pause. So now that we're heading towards the end, or this is the last slide, this is another brief thing that I would say, and that is that students can barely type and their literacy levels suffer. So to me, if students have an inability to read and write now, whether the medium is technology or the medium is a textbook, kids are suffering right now. So I'm not too sure that SMAR is solving anything other than to put students behind should it become a 100% requirement in every aspect of education. That aside, here's another example, lessons writing a short paper of the SMAR of how that can be done online. I hope that this provided all of the content and kind of really told you what my thinking was behind it concerning what is SMAR, why should I use SMAR model, which I'm not sure that I should, and how SMAR can be used to be engaged students. Have a wonderful day.